People got lots of great ideas. It's a great idea from your side. It's a great idea from your pastor. It's a great idea from your lawn. But you ain't looking at what I got to work with, the fact that I don't have a lawn. A lot of y'all, don't understand that the police and their actions before and after Natalie Bollinger's death prevented me from being able to get any of the help that I needed. The way that I was painted to the public and had the public attacking me, and the police would do nothing. Exploiting my disabilities, both physical and mental. If you overwhelm me, then there's a severe problem. And instead of helping me every step of the way, the police made sure that I was overwhelmed instead. I literally had to break the law to try to get y'all to pay attention to the fact that I was being assaulted, that these officers and these hospitals were doing things that kill people. And then later on, those exact same officers and exact same facilities killed people. And you tell me to call suicide hotline. Call suicide hotline. I've called suicide hotline. They give me numbers to a bunch of places that I've called, that have given me numbers to places that I've called, that give me numbers to places that I've called. And you say, Sean, why aren't you doing these things? I am doing those things. When you are called mentally ill, it doesn't matter how hard you are trying. Nobody is going to look at your efforts. You literally have to have someone speak up for you. And that is something that I've been trying to explain since well before Natalie Bollinger was killed. When police can just brush you off and call you mentally ill and pretend that you're fucking crazy, it makes it okay to do whatever the fuck people want to you. Oh, well, Sean, it's your fault for looking that way. Are you fucking kidding me? Meanwhile, all these things that people are up in arms about, people are being prejudiced against old people, and people are being prejudiced against young people, prejudice for skin color. Prejudice for the color of your skin isn't the only one, is it? It isn't. I've had people that have judged me for the color of my skin through all of this. People who've judged me for my gender through all of this. Judged me for the way that I look through all of this. Judged me for my poverty through all of this. And made the world's worst fucking excuses for doing this shitty stuff. Hello, Nima. Nima is typing hi. And then there's your assumptions about autism. A lot of y'all, all you know about autism, you got from TV. All you know about autism, you got from some dude who isn't even autistic pretending to be. Or you got a low functioning autistic person in your family. You go, well, he's not like that person. You think we're all supposed to be the same. You think everybody who gets cancer gets the same fucking cancer. You think cancer just infects people of a low IQ or just of a high IQ? The thing is, before Natalie was killed, I was involved in saving lives. Specifically, saving lives from the Boulder Police Department and the Boulder City Council and their corrupt racket. When our loved ones freeze to death in Boulder, Colorado, the police will literally go around and make fun of us for it. Boulder City Council does a lot of stuff that is specifically meant to be a slap to our face. One year, the Boulder City Council had this thing in the newspaper saying that they were going to do more to try to help the homeless people. And they Waylon Lolotai. No, I'm sorry, Keith Steinman to be in charge of that. That's like putting Heinrich Himmler in charge of making sure that Jewish people are cared for. Yeah, we're gonna be nicer to the Jews. All right, Heinrich Himmler, we want you to be in charge of this program. What the fuck? Nima typed, no one has ever acknowledged what I say as much as you did. Nietzsche's ghost typed, they label you crazy because they are scared because they can see right through them. Very much so. Now there's these hundreds of places that people keep saying to call, and there's these people who hop on brand new and fresh. They don't realize that I've called all of these numbers hundreds of times. It doesn't occur to them. They just hopped on and they apparently, I don't know what they think I've been doing for the last 3 years, masturbating. It says, Nima type, did you reference my name directly in this live stream? Yeah. Well, you're over here in the live chat. Everybody gets to see that anyway, so it's not like they can't see your name. But when you're called mentally ill, people can do whatever they want to you, and that's the problem with that tag. The term is mentally disabled, and when you were called mentally disabled, you supposedly have rights. They denied me those rights by calling me intelligent. They also denied me the rights of an intelligent person by calling me mentally ill. I'm not sure how many of y'all know who Friedrich Nietzsche is. He's pretty famous. In fact, this person called themselves Nietzsche's ghost kind of brings me back to the 90s. There was a show called The Net, or a movie called The Net with Sandra Bullock. And there was a program called Beethoven's Ghost. So that it always takes me back to that for some odd reason. People have told me to call all these places, and the situation that I encounter is exactly the same in every single one. I need help in person. Nobody gets that. Nobody understands that. People keep saying, don't you have family? Not that cares. My family are a bunch of predators. They only give a shit if I do what they want. They don't care if I get to see my loved ones ever again. My dad, he just wanted control. Holy fuck, Dad. Why don't you bother shutting the fuck up and listening to somebody who knows what the hell's going on? Like all these people saying that I stalked Natalie. You know what? I've proved that I didn't stalk Natalie time and again since then. But I wasn't allowed to show it in court. The media doesn't give a fuck. Why do you think I ended up breaking the goddamn law? I broke the law because the police were breaking the law. The Bollingers were breaking the law. Over and over and over again. And getting away with it. You say, you should call the ACLU. I've done that. The ACLU doesn't give a fuck. They're focused on black people. They're focused on ICE. They're not focused on the most victimized people in America. The most victimized people in America are foster children. The second most victimized in America are former foster children. The third are the homeless. The fourth are the mentally disabled. The fifth are the physically disabled. Now, the most shot by police, that would be Number one on the list, disabled people. Number two on the list, the homeless. Now, if we want to break it down, the disabled account for over half of those killed by police last year. The homeless account for nearly half of those killed by police last year. The homeless account for 81% of the incarcerated populace nationwide. They account for 0.2% of the population, the most marginalized, according to statistics, are actually the homeless. Now, this all comes down to what are these statistics for and what are they about? Because obviously, the statistics about who the police are killing are not the same as the statistics of who's the most victimized in America, because that's children. That is specifically foster children. Now, obviously, police aren't shooting more children than they are the homeless. Obviously, they're not shooting more children than they are the disabled. But then let's break it down even further. If we break it down even further and we break it into physically and mentally disabled, then we actually get the number one most killed by police are actually the homeless. But how do you want to break apart the numbers? Like, do we want to look at it as, all right, there's all these people there's all these police officers that are killing people in America. Police officers are killing people in America. Do we want to just chop off the little part that's black and say, all right, we're going to focus on that part? Hell the fuck no. At that point, what you're doing is you are slapping every other victim of police brutality in the face. We need to do something about police brutality. We need to do something about actual law enforcement. That is in their fucking name, enforcement. And we can't even enforce that. Body cameras on at all points in time while on duty. That'll help. It's a start. Telling me to call a place that I've called hundreds of times already, and then getting angry when I explain to you, hey, that doesn't work. I'm not telling you it doesn't work because I don't want to try. See, that's the thing with all of these other people that were telling me, oh, Sean, I'll help you, I'll help you, I'll help you. And then they didn't follow through. And I'm like, why didn't you help me? Why didn't you follow through? Why didn't you keep your word? Well, how do you know it's going to work? It's not going to work if you make zero effort. Now, according to law enforcement that I've recorded on this YouTube channel, lawyers that I've included on this YouTube channel, and quite a few other professionals, yes, I need someone on my side. Otherwise, this will continue. When law enforcement is telling you this, and then all of these other people are like, well, it won't do any good. I'm telling you, this is the only thing that does do any good. In person, in person, in person, from the very beginning. When someone is called mentally ill, they have zero rights unless there is someone there in person to fight for them, to say, hey, he's not crazy. He is telling the truth. Those people that should have been there for me and promised they would be there for me, they were victimized too. They were threatened and harassed too. They were afraid for their friends and their families too. But unlike me, they folded. And the reason that I was pissed off at each one of those people is because what they're not understanding is that there are a lot of lives at stake, not just theirs. By dipping out, you put a lot of other people and their children at risk. By dipping out, you took away what little resources that I had and made me start over because you were afraid. Not my fault. It's not my fault you're a coward. I didn't make you that way. And those phone numbers that y'all want me to continue to call, show up in person. We'll make the phone call together. I will record it right here on this computer and I will post it for the whole world to see. It's not like I'm not trying. I'm doing my goddamn best. Now let's look at all the situations where other people said that they would record it and they would help me with that. Let's start off with Cara Mia, aka Cara Rogers. She was working with the Bollingers the whole time. How fucked up is that? Well, pretending that she was going to help me, she was busy helping out the Bollingers. Natalie Bollinger's actual predators, by her own words. But then again, does that matter if nobody's going to look at it? They just call you mentally ill and they get to do whatever they want. But it all comes down to looks, don't it? I mean, even people who claim they want to help me, they want to make comments all the time on how pretty Natalie was. And a lot of people who hate me, they want to make comments about how ugly I am, about how I must have to rape somebody to get some. Holy shit. I tell you what, this ain't crazy enough. We'll see if we can get my hair up here all sorts of crazy for you. That way you can pretend all the fuck you want. There you go. I got the Don King thing going on. You like that? You like that? Now I must be really crazy. Now I must be a stark raving lunatic. My hair is messed up. So I must be out to kill people and chop up little kids and feed them to your fucking dogs. Holy shit, that's some crazy fucking thinking there. People are like, you're crazy, man. You're the ones judging people by the way they look. How can you judge a blind man by the color of his skin? Why did I say blind instead of wise? Because everybody's blind. When it's happening to you, yeah, it's happening to you, and you want everybody to do something about it. When it happens to your neighbor, you turn a blind eye. You look the other way. You look the other way when it's not happening to your group. When it happens to people that just happen to be of another group, you make excuses why it's magically okay. I read all the time about why white people who are going through this deserve it, why black people who are going through this deserve it, why natives who are going through this deserve it. None of us deserve this. We're all human beings. Nobody should be forced into a situation so desperate that they have to break the law. Nobody. It's illegal to run around in the street naked, isn't it? Well, let's say you got a 10-year-old boy who's getting raped. He's able to escape. He's able to run out into the street to get away. Now imagine the cops, instead of going after the pedophile, they arrest the boy for being naked. Or even worse, like they did with that boy who was handed over to Jeffrey Dahmer. Hand the victim over to the predator. Holy shit, we gotta do better. Assisted suicide needs to be legal. A lot of y'all keep typing up, well, it is legal. No, it's not. It's legal for very specific situations of terminal illness. It's not the same thing. The cruelty that I've had to go through in Chapel, Nebraska over a goddamn popularity contest. The number of people who have played fucking head games with me because their friends who are popular wanted to do fucked up things, but it's okay. These people never grow out of the high school mentality or junior high mentality, rather. It's disgusting. It's all a popularity contest. That's all it is. Is it popular to hate these people? Is it popular to like them? It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong. It matters what's fucking popular.